Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video, we're going to make a lock for a thick wooden door. The overview of what's happening is they've got an unusually thick door. I think it's 4-inch. So the question becomes is, how do you lock that door? So at the end of the day, there are not a lot of inexpensive options. There are expensive options. And the easiest and most robust is most certainly going to be a mortise lock. This job is outside of the envelope of what's commercially available, and that's the whole purpose of this video, what we're doing to make a lock for this door. Just to get this set up better, we got to add our grounding clamp to the workpiece. That should be plenty adequate, clamping it there. We're about as set on the work as we can. Appears to be fairly straight. We're going to nip our wire back just a little bit, as we said earlier. 1/2 inch. Just going to eyeball that. Good enough. Next thing to do is to turn it on and strike an arc. I believe the term is break a leg. Not awful. I'll inspect that a little bit more closely. Turn down my voltage to 6. I think we're a little hot. I feel like we've got plenty of weld on there, so I'm going to loosen the top and bottom, and that'll slide out. I'm going to inspect this. We're going to grind that down slightly so I can get it turned over. I'm just going to flatten that just a little bit so I can get it to lay down a little bit. Yeah, we're right here. So we've got, I don't have great weld coverage evenly on it. I'm going to stay to the left when I flip this over right now. Turn our welder back on. But we didn't burn through it, so that's good. So this time I'm going to stay over to this side. Spending a lot of time there, that's for sure. That moved, well, no it didn't. Moved it a little bit.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
Yeah. Like one of the Elvin Smiths of a Reggaeon. It appears to be reasonably straight. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, no twist in this at all. little chamfer. Doesn't matter, the client's going to clearly have to cut that to length. But now we've got a custom tailpiece. It's not super pretty, but it's exactly what the project requires. Small little high spot there, that's all. All right, I'm done. I'm not getting greedy. This is straight. It has a slight little bow to it. Nothing that what I just did right there doesn't really solve. You're not going to see that as clearly as I will, but that's going to work as a tailpiece. I'll hit that with some prime coat, and we're going to package that up and send it to the client. This job is done. Okay, so we're in good shape. I do like the helmet a lot. It darkened very quickly. I will look to optimize the settings. I sent them to just neutral. I didn't take time to toy with them. I will at some point. I'm happy with my fixture in terms of this one-time, one-off job. That worked out really well. Love the Miller-Matic 141. Love it. Obviously, I didn't put my brand new gloves on. That was a mistake. Cleanup comes next. I do have, for extended periods of welding, let me show you what you'll absolutely want, because the amount of welding I did was a trifle, but nonetheless, it's extremely high in terms of ultraviolet. If you weld more than just what I did, you are going to have a suntan, not the kind that you want. If I was doing a lot of welding, I would have this hood on. Absolutely, because it's going to cover me. It's going to cover the part that I'm not going to want to get in trouble with. I would clearly be wearing long sleeves if I was doing a proper welding job. This is very much not appropriate for welding in anyone's shop. You want to have ventilation at all times. If I was doing anything other than just half a dozen tack welds, basically, I would have ventilation. Welding fumes are toxic. They are associated with turning men sterile. It's true. So the bottom line is you'll want to not toy with any of that. Gloves, sleeves, forehead protection, neck protection. This will get burnt because your helmet doesn't cover that. As I said, ventilation. And if you're going to be welding in an environment where people are walking around you, you're going to need screens or some way to absolutely block that, because they are going to have trouble with breathing the fumes. Yes, you want ventilation, but also it's like staring at the sun is what you're doing when you're looking at that arc. My first welding helmets, of course, weren't auto darkening, so that's where you're literally starting in the dark because you've got the full shade. But as soon as that arc is struck and the light hits the lens, it hits the lens before it hits your eyeballs, theoretically, it darkens. Bam, and you're good. What happens then, it gets dark, but because you've got all of that light that's happening at the weld point, now it's as if you can see in kind of normal lighting conditions. So I'm pretty happy with my tailpiece. I don't know where it is. I hope I haven't lost it. Here it is. It's not super pretty, but of course it's not going to be super pretty when you're welding two pieces of steel together. So that's going to work. I'm happy. The client ought to be happy as well. Actually, let's go over to the rim cylinder and let's put it on.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
So here's our tailpiece. This is going to go on to the rim cylinder. There's going to be a C-clip that holds it on. You don't want to lose those. They're a special size. Now the real drag with doing this work is, and it is a drag. Here's your tailpiece. The tailpiece needs to be utterly flat. I mean, really, really good to being flat, because if it's not, then as you turn it, it's going to go oval through your steps. That's what we were making for the client. The drag of this is tailpiece goes in, it's hanging down. When you bring the lock, you kind of have to have this all through the door. This plate will be on the inside. And what you kind of need to do is take the lock body a little lower, get the tailpiece into the shutter, and then lift it up. What they have are cylinder guides. It's basically a bird's mouth sort of prep piece of plastic that will allow you to, it kind of looks like that, that will allow you to, get it in like that. That's the way that works. Now, the question becomes is how long is all of this? 5 inch? Yeah, plenty long enough. Tailpiece goes in. That's the test right there. Okay, glad we took this step because I've got to get those 832 machine screws for the client. I'm going to verify that they're 1032. I am 99.9% positive that they're 1032. The question is how long do they really need to be? So let's measure that. Yeah, they're going to have to be 4.5 inch. Yeah, that'll be no problem. So let's wrap this video up with showing the conclusion. So as you may recall, the unscripted drama of a prior video was I forgot the long screws. I forgot that we were going to need long screws for that cylinder. So 1032, I'm able to just source long 1032 machine screws. In order to get the plate, the mounting plate to work, I put the head of the screws on the bench grinder just to get the diameter of the head down a little bit, and you'll note that it really looks just like actually the original screw. An unusual head diameter here, as you can see. Okay, so got the mounting plate. These screws fit down really nice, fit in, no problem. The client may have to cut this. I don't know. I don't think the client will need to cut it, would be my guess. So let's take a look at getting this together. If you'll excuse me, I'll just tighten this up on my desk. And this is how we're going to ship it to the client. Voila. Let's actually get that down a little bit further, just so that the plate doesn't come out of sequence with the tailpiece. I want the tailpiece to stay within the mounting plate. These screws are 4.5 inch. That'll work. There you go. Be able to thread that in even further should the client need to. But here's a rim cylinder for a unusual door thickness. So at the end of the day, we can provide these. You know, would anybody really have a thicker door? Well, it's possible. The downside, obviously, is always going to be the strength of the tailpiece. Now, I've got that welded pretty strong. I did not make another one, put it in a vise, and then twist it and see how much force it would take. But there's pretty good penetration on that weld, so the weld is good. And when the weld is good, it's as strong as the base metal itself, so I'm confident. The longer screws had to be sourced, obviously. Wasn't or isn't a really big deal. Slightly cross-threaded there, it looks. Yeah, that'll end up being a problem. But that's it. Took a lot of work just to make that tailpiece. It did because I was flat-footed in terms of having my welder set up. I haven't welded in a while, so therefore I didn't have it on the rolling carts with the leads ready to go and my mask all polished. I had to assemble all of that, which was fun to go through, in fact. We will have likely, well before by the time you're seeing this video, these types of cylinders added to the site for custom door lengths is just simply the bottom line. And that's what the deal is going to be. So you'll be able to find those there. Hopefully this client reaches back out to us and says that it was a smashing success. Admittedly, a lot of clients don't reach back out to us after we make something extremely custom for them. You know, it's no news is obviously good news. That is, there is truth to that. But it would be nice to hear back saying, hey, that custom tailpiece and long screws you did for me, that worked out just great. And it's handy to know that kind of information, in fact. So we will consider this video concluded, and if you have any questions on custom door thickness or rim cylinder applications, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.
Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.